Dumela Kazi, welcome back to Gossip Cafe. Libito Lakake K. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning Sabi, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. My voice is a bit huskier at the moment. It is because it is that time of the year where everything is just blooming. The pollen is all over the show. I am suffering from sinuses. I am not down. It's just that my voice is a bit different, right? So on this video, we are talking about Upromise Magunyane, Big Guy, Owami, and the whole podcast that Promise did with Big Guy. So I'm gonna tell you my own review of the podcast and everything that was said on the podcast, and I hope and pray that I will be able to cover each and everything that I said I want to cover. I don't have a script, so we might be jumping from one place to another. I hope you will forgive me for that, but let's get into it, man. So guys, before we dive into the whole thing, let's talk about, or let me say thank you so much to Promise for actually taking time out and drive all the way to Friday to actually have a chat with Big Guy. Also, thank you so much to Big Guy for actually opening up to us, opening up to this cruel world of YouTube with the whole thing that happened, because it looks like Big Guy is not really the type of a person who wants to be on cameras all the time talking about his life and whatever and all of those things. Also, thank you so much to Lynn from the Vault Entertainment for actually persisting and pushing this thing until it got where it is right now. And I hope somewhere somehow there will be time whereby everything is just laid to rest and everybody moved on and they're living their lives, right? Yeah, thank you so much, Promise. And let's talk about Promise. Promise, first of all, I don't think she is a trained presenter. I don't think she is a person who actually wanted to be an interviewer, a presenter, someone who's asking questions to celebrities or influencers or whatever people. So how she held that conversation on her side, I actually I'm so proud of her. A lot, because she held it, especially if this is not your field, especially if this is actually not what you were trained for. I don't think she went and trained to become a presenter. So you did really well. I know a lot of people were saying that no, she didn't ask this question, she didn't ask that question. It gets a bit tricky, guys, especially when it comes to podcast. Podcast is like a conversation. You can ask questions, but podcast is like a conversation. It's not like a scripted television show whereby you've got this script and you need to ask these questions as they go. Podcast, sometimes the questions arises when you are busy talking to the person. That's how the podcast is. It's like a conversation. So some questions might be skipped, some questions might not be skipped. Maybe a lot of people would say that Promise wanted a certain narrative, or Promise wanted to get a scoop from Big Guy, because she was asking certain questions that people really didn't want to hear, right? But on my side, I think I'm proud of her. I think going forward, whoever she is interviewing, she will be able to fix herself somewhere, somehow. She will be able to get to the swing of able to interview people, even though it is like a conversation, a chat with this person. Even though you're asking them questions, you try to make them feel like this is a chat and this is a safe space. That's how I felt. I felt like Promise was opening up a safe space for Big Guy, so that Big Guy is able to talk, right? Another thing that we need to talk about is how slow Big Guy is. He's slow, right? I don't think that is a problem. I don't think that is a problem at all. We are not all chacharakh. We are not all Hadidas ha all the time. So I think she tried to make sure that the pace is a bit higher, but I think he was being himself. That's all. So if you find him slow and whatever, because all said he's slow, it is your problem. We were listening to the conversation over there. Even if it took 2 hours, I think I would have sat and listened, because of how the energy was within that podcast and how how Big Guy was carrying himself, right? So also let's talk about how Big Guy was sweet and collected on that podcast. He was in his gentleman era on that podcast. He spoke very well. He was very respectful in what he was saying. He was not dragging anybody. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying Ohami and Big Guy, they do share similarities on the story. The story is almost similar to each other. It's just that on O's side, everything was like a World War III. Everything, the world was ending, and all the time. It felt like this marriage was never a happy place for both of these couples, never at all. So she mostly focuses on the bad of this marriage, which is, I understand, when you just broke up with a person or you're just divorced, the only thing that you will remember would be the bad times, not the good times. So on Big Guy's side on this podcast, Big Guy was very respectful, and he allowed us to see a different side of this marriage, whereby a different side of this marriage there were times whereby they were happy, because obviously you can't be in this marriage for almost 10 years or something like that and everything was just in shambles, everything was just crazy, people were going crazy, you were suffering. It was cries each and every time, jealousy, and all of those things. That's how things are on the other side, right? So also there were questions of why did you cheat? On my side, I don't think that question should be asked, because I don't believe that there is any answer on why did you cheat. He tried to make a story out of whatever cheated and whatever. I don't think there is any right answer to why did you cheat, because if you are not happy in this marriage, if you are not happy in this relationship, just get out of the relationship. He says that he was flirting on Facebook. The only time that he actually went out and dated someone, it is when O suggested that they have an open relationship and all of those things, and that's when he was able to go out. But he says he was flirting on Facebook, which is other people will see it as cheating. Other people will see it as it's just an animal feeling. It's not cheating, right? We don't know. But on my side, I think that is actually cheating as well, because you are you are planning stuff or with whoever on Facebook and whatever, even if you don't get a chance to meet with them, but you have already planned stuff with them. That means you are on your steps to actually cheat, to fully fledged cheat, right? So that question, why did you cheat, is just out. There is no explanation for cheating. You just cheated. You are just a cheater. That's it. Let's not even sugarcoat it. That question should just go away. People cheat because they know what they want. They want a certain thing that they are not getting inside at home, and they are not communicating about it and say, this is what I want here at home. If you're not giving it to me, it's either we open this marriage or I'm leaving, right? So communication was bad between these two people. That's what I'm getting. Sorry. Communication was really bad between these two people. Another thing that I need to touch on is how he was vulnerable, and talking about how they actually took care of Owami's sister and Owami's sister's child, which is I was like, before this podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't focus on this child, because he's a child. He's not supposed to be in this mess at all, right? But unfortunately the story goes to him, but I didn't want them to focus too much on it, and which they did not focus that much on the child, which is nice. I love it that way. So obviously Owami's sister had a child, and the dad kicked her out or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, and they had to take her in, and they took her in, they took care of the child, and they raised the child together. which when Big Guy is talking about it, you can see the passion on his side. He is very passionate. As much as Owami loves that child, and I can see through Big Guy that he was very connected to that child as well. I don't know what is the story now, since they broke up. Maybe he decided to part ways with the child as well, which is sad, which is really, 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 really sad. And as I said, these people are talking the same thing. They are talking about the same things, even though Big Guy is elaborating and talking and going deeper at some point. Some of the things going deeper, like why did Owami not finish studying, or and stuff like that. That Owami was excluded or was expelled because she failed twice, and all of those things. And obviously, Big Guy was able to obtain his degree. And yeah, he is Leonard. He is Leonard. He is not a dom cop the way that Sisters was portraying him as a dom cop. I would understand that if she says that he is a dom cop when it comes to being street wise, because obviously sometimes you might be a bookworm and you are not street wise, and maybe that's why she is calling him dom cop. And also, I felt like when I was looking at Big Guy talking and all of those things, I felt like it is one of those guys that you can manipulate easily. And so he doesn't have that dominant demeanor. Like, he doesn't have that dominant energy. Like, he wants to dominate. He wants to do anything, like dominate everywhere. And Owami has got that strong, dominant energy, like control freak energy. That's what I'm trying to say. So each and everything, when you deal with someone who is dominant, and then you are dominant, you've got this someone who's very yes, you can easily manipulate them. So I think each and everything that happened, which he admitted, for example, gambling the car and all of those things, each and everything or things that happened over there also happened because he was easily manipulated. On top of it, he said he didn't feel like a man in this house. So if you don't feel like a man in the house, you will try to, when you go out to your friends, to portray that manhood, that I am the man. So for example, let's go do this. You can't say no, my woman is going to do this and this and this, and then there was the guys, obviously they were gonna say, who's the man in this house, right? So he would have done all those things out there because he was trying to show that he is still a man. I'm a bull here. I can do what I want. I can if I want, I can gamble this car because I am the man. I'm gonna go back at home and explain it. I am the man of that house. So when you get to the house, obviously you are no longer the man of the house, because there is this Godzilla in here, or the I'm sorry guys, there is this crazy person in here who wants things to be done the way that she wants, right? And also he touched on amalobola and having a combined bank, or what you call these partnered bank or something like that, whereby both of your money goes into there. That's where the lobola actually went out from that. So that means mixture of the money. As much as sometimes I would say maybe Owami, obviously I think he said that Owami had more in there and he had less in there, but at the end of the day they both had a hand to have that particular amount of money in the bank, right? And another thing that Upromise touched on was why did the marriage end? And a lot of people obviously know that the marriage ended because Bikoy was cheating, but I feel like at this stage I think Promise touched there as well, that this marriage ended because of money. As men, we like to provide. Yes, I am a man, as much as I'm gay, and I have dated women, and also I'm still a man. So I want to provide. Most of the times I want to provide. If I take you out right now, if you are a lady, you are my friend, for example, I'm taking you out for the first time or whatever, I would like to provide, right? I want to give you the time of your life, because I'm a man in this whole thing. We are not 50-50. I'm a man. So I grew up in those days whereby a man was supposed to provide, not the 50-50 thing. I grew up in the times where 50-50 was not there. So a man should provide, right? So that's what Big Guy was. That's why the marriage rather ended, because Owami, I'm gonna say this one, Owami was on YouTube now, right? And on YouTube at that time, things were trending, things like having good life, like posh life, Abu Mihlali, and all of those things came out, and the influencer space was big, and lavish houses, lavish lifestyle, big cars, and all of those things. But O was not gonna be able to get to that certain level, because obviously you're getting this certain amount of money from YouTube, and your husband is bringing this change. Sorry guys, your husband is bringing this certain amount of money. It's not enough. It is enough for you guys to live comfortably, but not lavishly like these influencers online, because also most of the times I think Miss O likes to be in a certain place. Like, she likes high life, these unattainable standards of high life. But she was not gonna get that from Obi Guy at all, because obviously at that time Obi Guy was not earning much, right? So Promise Makuyana made it for us to be cleared, for us to have a clarification that this marriage did not end because of actual cheating. Cheating was maybe a trigger. That's what I'm thinking on my side. Cheating was a trigger that, you know what, fuck this, because obviously, hello, I am earning a lot in this house, and now you're cheating? No, I'm living, because obviously I'm gonna get the life that I want without you, because I'm not getting this life that I want with you, because you are not man enough to actually provide for me. So definitely a man will be broken by that. And also let's talk about I think I need to conclude this because I spoke a lot. Let's talk about when you say things. I think I left the part where I was saying they what they saying, these stories, they do link together, but Big Guy elaborates, and Owamu's Jajarach talking as if this marriage was so sad and so broken and all of those things. The Big Guy on his side, when he speaks with this conviction. He speaks his respectful, lower tone, sorry, gentleman vibes and all of those things. And then on the other side, she is just going all out and going crazy and all of those things, which makes it difficult to actually say, okay, which one is which. But now we understand that which one is which is the same thing. It's just that the tone that is used by two people is different. That's what I got out of that podcast. I don't want to lie on my side. I do really feel like we need part two. I feel like we need part two. I feel like I want to hear certain questions that were not asked over there. Maybe they can touch on them somewhere, somehow, but I don't think there will be any part two. Some of the things we did hear them actually, how they panned out. Things like how Oami left the school. A lot of people were saying that the mom died and all of those things, but you cannot fail twice, honey. Some of us had periods whereby we did not have parents, right? You go into school, like you're writing exams, and then you get a call that your dad is dead, and you still come with B plus or A plus and all of those things, but unfortunately our psychological how we absorb things, how we view things, how we get shock and all of those things is different. But I'm not sure how you can fail twice because you're still mourning your mom. I don't know. It is on her side on those things. So obviously at the end, Promise wanted to listen to the audio. I'm gonna say with the audio, guys, you should have seen Big Guy's face when Owami constantly said "Umamako is febe" or something like that on that audio. You can tell from the body language, you can tell from the face that he is actually distraught. He is actually disappointed. You can literally tell that it hurts. It hurts the most. So with, as I said before, with someone someone who's dominant, someone who is submissive, because somehow I think in that relationship, Ubigai was a bit submissive to Owami, and Owami was the dominant one, and because obviously Owami is bringing more money and all of those things, and she has to she has to show her masculinity that I am the one who's bringing more money here, right? Even though Big Guy is also bringing money, but I am the one who's bringing more money. So you can tell that he was very submissive, and she was very dominant, right? And she knew exactly what to say in this relationship or in this marriage. She knew exactly what to say that will make Big Guy go crazy or go nuts. She knew exactly. So she knew when she was swearing at the mom, it will hurt the most Big Guy. She knew that when she was mentioning Big Guy's genitals, he will definitely feel the pain. I mean, as a man, if you want to come for me, especially if I slept with you, come for me about my manhood, the size of my manhood, obviously, because even if it's big, even if you know that you've got a big one, you're still insecure. You're still like, it could have been 1 centimeter longer, or it could have been 1 inch longer, or something like that. It's almost like the same as women, whereby they say, oh, I should have had hips, or why am I having hip dips, why are my breasts so small, why are they flat, why are they looking down, why are they looking at the other side, why? It's the same thing. It's the same thing with men, because most of the times black men, most of the times they were told that a man is like this, a man shouldn't be like this, and that and that and that and all of those things. So we don't really show or we don't want to show our emotions when it comes to when you tell us that your manhood is small, or your performance in bed is like this and this and that and that. And on top of when I'm still talking about that manhood thing, on top of it, that she spoke about how she was not happy in bed. Obviously, at some point in one of the videos that she made, that she was not happy in bed. This person did have sex for the first time with you, right? So obviously on your side, you are more experienced than him. You could have communicated with this person that, you know what, I want it this way. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. That's the communication. When it comes to sexual communication, sex communication, you need to communicate with your man that I don't like it that way. And if obviously the penis is too small, you are always welcome to say, you know what, I know how to make it work the way it is so small. We were all designed, or we were all, God gave us different sizes of penises, but there's only one or two functions for it. Obviously, is to ejaculate and reproduce, or pee. That is what you need to do. So when it comes to actually reproduce, or when it comes to actually having sex, as a woman, you should be able to say, you know what, babe, because obviously you're married with this person and you know that you were the first one, so he is not experienced, he knows nothing about helicopter maybe and stuff like that, and it's better for them to hear from you than to go and watch porn and try to do everything that they saw on with porn and stuff like that. Communication, and then after communication, then you can go and get inspired with porn and stuff stuff like that. I don't know, like if porn inspires people to do certain things that they're not supposed to do, which is part of another thing that you cheat, is not to communicate, because maybe your woman doesn't want to do certain position, and then you decide to go and cheat without you communicate and say, you know what, can we at least try? Then you will be able to say, I don't want this position and stuff like that. So you go out to live your fantasies, and you leave your wife inside here, thinking that everything is fine, but you know that everything is not fine, because you are not living your fantasies in your house, you live your fantasies outside. So she could have also communicated. I don't know if she did or she didn't, and he didn't listen. I don't know. And now he comes and say the penis is small. You can make it work even if it is small, unless you just prefer certain sizes on your side. You just don't want the small penis because it's not appealing to you, unless that's the case. But in the case of this person has never had any girlfriend except you, then you can teach them one or two things in a way that they don't feel like you are trying to mend them around, you are trying to boss them around, that you don't know how to have sex, let me teach you how to have sex, because obviously women supposed to be submissive, the men should kwela phezulu and do her thing and they are done. Even though you are not satisfied on your side, if he is satisfied, it's fine. You need to communicate and say, you know what, do me there. This corner needs to be sorted out, and that corner needs to be sorted out in 2 seconds, right? That's how it's supposed to be, right? So he was hurt. He was hurt a lot. He was hurt with her calling her the mom. We need to understand, guys, biologically, psychologically, a man, the first person, if you are a boy and you are young, the first person that you fall in love with is your mom. If you are a girl, the first person that you fall in love, the first ever person that you fall in love is your dad. It is beyond the motherly and fatherly love. You fall in love. You feel like you want to sort of date them or something like that. It's like you love them, you fall in love in a way that it's like almost like dating love. Those feelings obviously go away at a certain time, when it is when you grow, like child development. When within that child development, and the first person that you fall in love with, I think around about 6-7 years old, 5-6-7 years old. Ooh, let me go back to my books. I think around about 6-7 years old, you actually there's feelings that you have for your mom, right? If you are a boy, so there's feelings that you have with your dad if you are a girl. But that bond, even though when you grow up it changes, like it's a motherly bond, that bond for men with their moms, that bond is, I cannot explain it. I really cannot explain it. And if you come for their mom in that way, they are just going to feel broken, like you broke them to the core. The genital part is part of it, but most of it is you calling their mom that despicable word. But anyway, I think by now she understood that was uncalled for. And let's talk about how the actual podcast went. The podcast went very well. And I don't know why Miss O decided to go on private on her socials. Maybe she thought that everything was going to be vile, as she always does things vile. Not everyone is vile. And education plays a huge role in someone's life. And at this point of time, a formal education is very important. We might say informal education, and all of it. Informal education is very important, but sometimes when you've got a formal education, you walk different, you talk different, you become a different person, and you are able to solve things in a manner that will not infringe other people's rights, and not going to belittle other people even though they did you bad on their side. You do things different. And also he spoke about the last time he was with Miss O, she got 32,000 or 30 something thousand from YouTube. I don't know if she's struggling now because the views are not viewing the way that they were viewing before, if she was getting 30 something thousand rands. But obviously she still needs to pay that X-Trail, and X-Trail is around about 6 to 7,000 rands a month, I think, somewhere somehow there. Yeah, I think I'll cut it short here. I don't know if I said everything that I wanted to say, but I feel like this is too long for me. But I think I wish they like move on from whatever it is happening. I wish Owami will heal on her side. I wish she can stop giving us a side that we feel like Ubiga is a villain. They were both in this, and it takes two to tango. They both responsible for their failed marriage, and I don't see that they should try to, or she should try to villainize Obi guy who is not trying to villainize her, right? Because on this podcast, he did not try to villainize her. And also a lot of people would say that, oh, Promise wanted a scoop and all of those things. Nah, guys, she would have wanted the scoop, yes, maybe, but she held that podcast like a lady that she is. She held it, and I feel like I'm applauding her for that, and I hope that she grows and she is able to interview and communicate with people in a manner that will suit everybody. But unfortunately, I don't think that will happen because you cannot make it work for everybody. That's just the truth of things. You cannot make it work for everybody. And Promise is not focused on that podcast 100%. She's not that podcast 100%. And other people were laughing at Promise's qualification, that Promise obtained her qualification from UNISA. University of South Africa is still a university. I never studied there. I went to UWC, but it is still a university until it is like all gone. She earned that degree. She earned it, and it is difficult to earn a degree, especially if you don't even know the difficulties of earning a degree. So people should be mindful on such things, that they laughing about other people's institutes of getting education. At the end of the day, she got education. At the end of the day, she is a graduate. She is a graduate. When she's wearing that thing, she is a graduate. And those minions and cult members, some of them, I think they are still doing arts and culture at high school or whatever, primary and stuff like that. They know nothing about having a matric certificate even. So yeah, wait. Thank you so much for watching till this far. I'm so sorry it was too long, and I'm so sorry that I rambled too much. But I hope and pray that I actually reviewed this whole thing accordingly, right? Thank you so much. Have a fantastic one. I'll see you on my next upload. Please do subscribe. Make sure that you hit your notification bell and comment down below. Let me know, what do you think about this review. Peace out, sweethearts.